welcome to Attic Raiders Retro Reviews, where today we're asking that most important of questions: who burst the box? Who Burst the Box was released in the UK by Housemartins sometime in the 1980s. Now, I don't know exactly when it was released because there aren't any copyright dates on the box, the instructions, or any of the plastic pieces. But this is the same game as Stuff It, which was released by Lakeside in 1985.
It's Stuff It!
Stuff 'em in the phone booth, you're headed for great fun.
Stuff 'em through the window, the game has just begun.
Stuff 'em all inside,
But know just when to stop.
cause if you overstep it,
You'll blow off its top!
So that means that this game probably came out in 85 or 86. It was also re-released a whole lot later in 2015 by a company called foamie under the name Burst the Telephone Box. And that version, while basically the same game, has undergone a complete overhaul where there are fewer but thicker foam men, and the box itself has been completely redesigned to look like a telephone box with a whole new mould and sculpt. Who Burst the Box is a game for 1 to 4 players aged 3 and up, so it is definitely a game on the younger side, but it's got a really unique mechanic which I really haven't seen in any other game since. As far as box art goes, there really isn't any on this box. It's just photographs of 3 children playing this game, all concentrating really hard and getting quite surprised when the box does burst open. On the back, we've got more photographs of the instructions and some basic text telling you how to play the game. One thing that does bug me about this game is the name of it, Who Burst the Box? Yeah, sure, Who Burst the Box, but Who Burst the Box is obviously a question, and a question needs a question mark, and this has got just an exclamation mark. Now, as a primary school teacher, that is driving me nuts. Get a question mark and an exclamation mark if you want it to be shocking and exciting, but get a question mark on there, it's a question. There's not a lot else to be said about this game, so let's take a closer look at some of those components. The actual box itself comes in 6 pieces. We've got the top black piece, the bottom black piece, and the 4 side pieces. This black piece on top comes off so that the box can burst. Now, when you actually first get this game, these yellow pieces are obviously separate from the black piece and have to be clicked into these pivot points here so that they can go up and down and burst. Once they're actually in there though, you can't get them back out again, but you don't need to because this will fit into the box quite easily. And you can see this is quite nice construction. The plastic is good quality on this. It's got a nice springiness on the sides of the box, which will be essential for this game, and the base is a good quality thick plastic, and the same with the lid here. Now you can see on the sides of the box, when they fold up together, there are these little nibs here on the corners, so that when you fold it together, those nibs interlace like this, and we do that on all 4 sides of the box. And then, as the instructions say, you then take the top piece, which is slightly indented or recessed, and that fits snugly, according to the instructions, on top of there, so that all of those nibs, you can see inside, all of those nibs are lined up properly, and that box is nice and sturdy and ready to go. It's not going to accidentally fall apart when it shouldn't. And this really does remind me of the phone box from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Now, the actual playing pieces for this game are these little foam men. There are supposed to be 20 of these, but I've only got 19. I'm missing one, but that shouldn't make a difference. This game should still be playable. Now, there are 4 different colours. There are green ones, there are blue ones, there are orange ones, and there are yellow ones. But what colour you have doesn't really make a difference at all. These just get divided up equally amongst however many people are playing this game. It really doesn't matter if you have all green or if you have a mixture of all of the colours. Now these are obviously just little sponge men. This is like something that you might have in the bath when you were a kid, and they've just been cut out of sponge or foam with die cut eyes, mouth and belly button. And of course, being sponge or foam, they exert a kind of pressure which is going to be necessary for this game in order to force their way out of the box, putting that pressure, once there's enough of them, onto the walls of the box to explode the box and make it burst. And lastly, there are player counters. Now I've got 10 of them here, but there's supposed to be 12. Again, I'm missing 2 of them, but in this game it's not really going to make much of a difference. In the game, each player is given 3 counters, and every time they burst a box, they lose one of their counters. So effectively, they've got 3 lives. Now you can see that these counters are really, really cheaply made. This is quite pants. It's terrible. The card stock, it's corrugated card here. It's not even lined up properly. The print doesn't line up with the die cut. You can see it kind of overlaps here. We've got a bit of the extra here, and it's cut off here. And you've got all these little points around here. It's just really, really cheap. And the reason why these game tokens look so shoddy is because they've actually been popped out of the box flaps at the top here. This has been designed so that these get punched out of the top, which I suppose for the company is going to save them money, and I suppose not having these produced on a separate piece of cardboard is maybe better for the environment, but this looks absolutely terrible when you're storing the box, and this is just really cheap. This is just a horrible, horrible idea that I just don't like it. I've never seen it before in any other game, and I think there's a very good reason for that, because it's just such a bad design choice. So the game itself is dead simple, which is why it's aimed for ages 3 and up. Little sponge men are equally distributed between all the players so that everybody's got the same number to make it fair. Everybody's got 3 counters or 3 lives, and each person takes it in turn in order to basically stuff a little man into the box, and whoever puts in the man that makes the box burst open loses one of their token or loses one of their lives, and the first person to lose all 3 of their lives is the loser and is out of the game until only one person is left and they are the winner. There's just one teeny tiny little problem with this game. Doesn't work. This game is completely broken. The box doesn't burst, and that is the whole entire point of this game, is to see how many foam pieces are going to make it burst. And if it doesn't burst with all of them in there, it's rubbish. It's completely out of it. There's no point to this game. You can't play it. You can't possibly win it, and you can't lose it. It's not fit for purpose. Now, I have no idea why they produced a game which is fundamentally broken. I mean, surely they must have play tested it. The children on the box cover, it seems to be working, it seems to be exploding, but if you take a look at the box cover carefully, it seems to be more of a prototype. The lid on that piece is yellow underneath, whereas the game produced piece is black, and those sponge pieces look suspiciously chunkier, which would give a much bigger push. There's just no way to get this game to work in its current state the way that it is. And it's not that I am playing it wrong. I know that I've got my hand on top of it when I'm putting them in, but you are supposed to do that. The rules specifically say that you are supposed to place your hand on the lid, then stuff one of the sponge people into the box with the other hand, then take your hand off of the lid, and then if it bursts, you are out. So that's what you're meant to do. The rules also say that when you put the black lid on the top, it's supposed to fit snugly, which is what I do. But the problem is that it's too snug. There is no give to it at all. So it means that when you try to stuff them in and the box starts bulging, it's just going to keep on bulging, and it's not going to disconnect from that black lid at all. It just doesn't work. With the later 2015 release, I have seen videos on YouTube of that one working, but it's different. It's got thicker foam pieces which are going to exert more of a pressure, and the box itself has been completely re-sculpted. And from what I can see, the lid of the box seems to have much more space around it, so it's a much looser fit, so it's much more likely to burst. This, in its current state, is just not going to work. It just baffles me. If you put the lid on a little bit looser, then it doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. Some of the sides will come down, but not really very nicely. If you've ever played this before, the original 80s version, then let me know if you've managed to play this and actually have it work the way that it's supposed to. Maybe it's just my copy, maybe I'm being too harsh, but as far as I can see, this game is for the bin. There is nothing redeeming about it. You can't have a game whose sole function, unique playable moment, if you like, doesn't appear, doesn't happen. It's just, I don't know. And it really is a shame, because when you see this game's mechanism work the way it's supposed to, it really is pretty fantastic. And I'm almost certain that the original Lakeside Stuff It version would have worked exactly like this with its chunkier foam men. But in trying to save costs, House Martin have made them thinner so they don't exert as much force, and so they just can't burst open the box the way they're supposed to, which really is a shame, because they've completely spoiled this game and it doesn't do what it's meant to. So, is this a recommendation from me? Hell no. Do not waste your money on this game. At all, ever. Bin it, chuck it, run a mile. Just don't do it to yourself. However, I do have lots more games in my collection which do work and are a lot more fun. So, stay tuned, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss out. Give us a like if you enjoyed what you saw. And until next time, this is Attic Raiders Retro Reviews.